saying thank you at the dinner table, perhaps not being on your phone while at the dinner table amongst other people, and finally, picking up after yourself, maybe even asking if you can help that person and or host with the dishes. And so yes, I'm talking about manners, and I want to talk about how manners are a way that you can show somebody that you care about them, and it literally costs $0, right? And so it's free, and it's very impactful, and I think it's really cool to be reminded that you're cared about, because I feel like only times when like we're doing bad or terrible or whatever is like, oh, you care about me, oh, that's nice, but the thing is the capacity to care must transcend all sort of timelines, in that it's flexible enough to allow for growth and such. And so let's talk about just ways on how to care about people, about someone, about a relationship. It can be, again, transferred and translated onto other things. But let's first talk about being nice. And I think being nice is a big part of how you can show you care about somebody or something or a topic. I think that being nice encompasses manners. And I feel like that because even when I think about my most recent relationship, obviously I have no other standard, unfortunately, until I have another relationship, and I am very much looking forward to it. And like in the interim, enjoying being single, but can't wait for another girlfriend. Anyways, manners, and as I think about that and I bring that up, is sort of like, when do you stop saying thank you when your partner, goes out of their way to do something for you? Like it becomes expected then, right? Like picking up the kids from school, or picking up somebody from work, or taking their partner their lunch at work or whatever. I mean, the thankless things, right? Often most attributed to mothers, unfortunately. Thanks, mom, for all that you do. I don't think I've even said, hey, okay, all right, but there's that. So I think that it's important to be nice. Again, it doesn't cost you anything, and I think that it's something I think about. And then, moreover, it's sort of like it's one thing to say it's like a level of comfort to have your partner, pee with the door open, or like burp or something, or like even other worse bodily functions than that. But like, I'd say that like for me, in my experience, the best relationships and the like longest lasting have been where the boundary has remained at it where it was when we first met each other, meaning that when those things happen. And I guess it's different for different people and their comfort levels, I understand that, but manners are still manners, right? That's how I feel. And like, I'm not the dude burping at the dinner table, and again, I essentially am not going to hate a person for doing that. It's not a deal breaker for me, in that, well, I mean, I'm not burping at the dinner table, right? I'm not doing, and again, I think that once it's like crossed that line, then it's everything's sort of like accepted and appropriate, and then what's once was weird is now accepted in that relationship because of the comfort level. But again, like, I just think about all my relationships because those are my experiences, and I'm like, man, as soon as I started acting this way or whatever, that worked out terrible for me, when in fact, had I just remained, with the appropriate mannerisms as I had going into that relationship, I would definitely not be where I'm at right now. Hence, in fact, last year, even with my debacle of a relationship, deciding to do things that were entirely, I wouldn't argue out of character, but perpetuated by the falsehood of other promises as a string attached to that behavior, right? And so, hey, we all fall for, partner tricks and things like this. And that's why it's really important to understand that if you really want to show somebody that you care about them, again, in a platonic sense, in a physical, intimate sense, in a gratuitous sense, in an acknowledgement sense, in any kind of a sense, I would definitely argue that you absolutely have to be mindful of your niceness. And I think that it's really easy to show a person that you've forgotten how to care about them. But all of these relationships and all of these instances, they require work, constant work, right? And by work I mean maintenance, and by maintenance I mean attention to detail as it comes to those very simple things that, again, I feel like we lose after some time. So it's nice to, remind ourselves of these things sometimes. And again, it doesn't matter what you care about. If you care about it, you will indeed show it attention. You will indeed be very interested in its future. You will be very much vested in the maintenance of such, to be able for there to have a potential for good future and things, right? And so those are some ways to show that you care about people. And again, this could be in any of those instances. It's just important to understand that it is an active role, and relationships aren't sedentary. They're not like they're not stationary. They have to move. And again, it's really up to us which way they move with our relationships and with people, right? In all capacities. We now know that they must move, so it's probably best if they move forward with the least amount of friction, because that's how we know is the most efficient way to get from point A to point B without as much, trauma or drama or stress. And so again, if you don't care about somebody, definitely none of those things are on the table. And it's not a bad thing to not care about somebody, as in if they were a title, and as it shouldn't affect as you treat people overall. But again, on an individualized, standardized level, these are ways to show how you care about certain individuals and or people, right? And so there's that. Ways to care about people without spending really any money at all, and just being nice and appropriate.